Hi, and welcome to MBF3 Niagara Detention Center Site-Specific Orientation. Criminal record check. Prior to commencing this orientation, all workers must provide proof that a criminal record check has been completed and approval received to work on the prison project. Have you completed the CRC and have been granted approval? If you have not, then please stop this orientation and notify the site superintendent, the safety officer, and your supervisor immediately. Land acknowledgement. In the spirit of respect and truth, we honor and acknowledge where we reside and are a guest on the unceded and ancestral territories where many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit have resided for centuries. Today we are in Niagara, which is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Treaty 3, 1972. Niagara is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We would like to express gratitude and respect and pledge to advance reconciliation by partnering with Indigenous peoples in our work. Project information. The province of Ontario will add 150 beds to 3 jails using modular construction, expanding the Niagara Detention Center in Thorold, the Cecil Fasser Youth Center in Sudbury, and the Vanier Center for Women in Milton. Bird Construction, Inc. has been awarded the contract to design and build the innovative modular expansions, with construction scheduled to begin in 2026. In addition to new beds, the expanded facilities will offer enhanced rehabilitation programs, including literacy, job skills, and technology training. Construction is expected to cost the province more than $180 million. Ontario is modernizing its procurement process and using innovative construction methods to help speed up the delivery of essential infrastructure, said Kinga Sharma, Minister of Infrastructure. By expanding correctional facilities in Thorold, Sudbury, and Milton, our government is enhancing the safety, capacity, and sustainability of the province's correctional system. Definition and purpose. A detention center is a facility used to confine individuals under the authority of a government agency. These facilities are designed to hold people for short periods, typically while they await a court appearance, immigration hearing, or other legal action, rather than a long-term punishment. Detention centers can serve multiple purposes, including immigration detention, juvenile detention, and pretrial detention. Please be aware that while you're working on this project, the individuals being held will be visible during yard times and when leaving the facility. Do not entertain any of their comments or attempts to gain your attention. General site layout and emergency response. This is the overview of the general site layout. Logistics plan for MBF3 Niagara Detention Center, where the proposed facility to the left will be where the trades will be setting up washrooms, site parking, as well as smoking area, lay-down area, and equipment area. The emergency muster procedure. The alarm is one continuous blast of an air horn and an all-call on the radio. Proceed to the closest muster point, and the muster point will be located near the trailer compound. The closest hospital to the site, Hotel Dieu Chevre Hospital at 541 Glen Ridge Avenue in St. Catharines. Copies of the map will be posted on the site safety board for everyone that requires one. The closest walk-in clinic to the site is the Thorold Family Medical Center. It's located on 21 Front Street South in Thorold, Ontario. Copies of this map will also be located on the site safety board in case anyone requires it. The emergency muster procedure. If you are required to meet the emergency response team, you will go to the designated emergency meeting point to meet and escort the ERT to the location of the incident. The emergency meeting point will be at the construction access gate. Remember, this is not the muster point, only the point where we meet the emergency response team to bring them to the site for the injured parties. The emergency contact number is 416-450-3261, and this is the number of the site superintendent. The emergency response plan, the site-specific emergency response plan, is reviewed by workers with signatures that they have read and understood the plan and posted on the site safety board. It's reviewed annually, modified on a as-needed basis throughout the year. Assess the situation, stop and observe before rushing in. First aid kits, AED, eye wash station, naloxone kit, trauma bag, stretcher, air horns, and fire extinguishers will be located at the bird site trailer. The emergency supplies, air horns, will be located at muster points and in fire extinguisher stands throughout the site. Fire extinguishers will be in the stands as well as in all site trailers and equipment. First aid kit, eye wash stations, AED, stretcher, naloxone kit, trauma bag will be in the bird site trailer. The different types of extinguishers, water and foam, are crucial in dealing with Class A fires. Carbon dioxide removes the oxygen and heat elements from the chemical reaction with a cold discharge of carbon dioxide. The dry chemical ABC are the most common as they are the most versatile, and they come in two varieties. The multi-purpose dry are the most effective on Class A, B, and C fires, and ordinary dry chemicals are to be used on Class B and C fires only. And 20-pound ABC extinguishers are the most common extinguishers on all bird sites. Site contact numbers. This is ever expanding and will be updated constantly. And this will also be posted on the site safety board in case anybody needs it. On-site first aiders, the list of first aiders will be posted on the site safety board. Get to know who is a first aider from your crew, and most of bird management will be trained in their first aid and their training records will be on file. Site access requirements for MBF3 Niagara. Minimum site access, so MBF3 site orientation, bird corporate orientation video, security clearance by RCMP, current working at heights, current WMIS 2015, worker awareness 4 or 5 step, and any additional tickets required for task specific operations, confined space, entry, monitor, fall protection, AWPs, etc. Employees new to the industry will be entered into the mentoring program, and all tickets must be provided prior to or at the time of orientation. Site behavioral rules. This was posted in the site orientation and will also be posted on site. Make sure that you read and abide by these safety rules that bird posts. Responsibilities, incident reporting, and alcohol and drug testing. Role of the employer is responsible for ensuring the health and safety of their employees are protected, responsible for providing safety materials, equipment, devices, and clothing to employees and ensure that they are familiar with and use them, required to post the code, their general H&S policy, and other printed materials as directed from the MLITSD. The role of the supervisor, responsible for ensuring that workers work in compliance with the OHSA and regulations, make sure that workers use any equipment, protective devices, or clothing the employer requires, tell workers about any workplace health and safety hazards that the supervisor is aware of, give workers written instructions on measures and procedures to be followed for their own protection, if prescribed by regulation, and taking every precaution reasonable in the circumstances to protect workers. Role of the workers. A worker shall work in compliance with the provisions of this Act and the regulations, use or wear the equipment, protective devices, or clothing that the worker's employer requires to be used or worn, report to his or her employer or supervisor the absence of or defect in any equipment or protective device of which the worker is aware and which may endanger himself, herself, or another worker, and report to his or her employer or supervisor any contravention of this act or the regulations or the existence of any hazard which he or she knows. Incidents and reporting. All incidents and near misses must be reported immediately. When an incident occurs, the very first thing you must do is freeze the scene, especially if it is a critical. If it's not dangerous to life or death, do not move anything, secure the scene as is, and flag off or barricade the area. Report the incident to your supervisor. Bird supervisor and HSE must be notified immediately and prior to anyone visiting ISOS. All incidents shall be investigated to determine the cause. What went wrong? How do we improve? The investigation is fact-finding and not fault-finding. Alcohol and drug testing will be required as per the Canadian model. If there is due cause, then it will be conducted. On-site hazards, falls from heights, slips and trips, struck by incidents, caught in between hazards, electrocution, moving objects and heavy equipment, biological and chemical hazards, harassment from the individuals being held, speed limits, noise and vibration, and no videos or pictures put on social media. PPE requirements. Minimum PPE requirements, mandatory. CSA hard hat class E type 2 with 4-point chin strap. CSA approved safety glasses with side shields. CSA approved safety boots, minimum 6 inches, ankle height. Appropriate gloves for the task, long sleeves and pants, and class 2 division 2 reflective vest. Additional PPE to be used as required by the job task or JHA. Site specific requirement. Site logistics, signing in, signing out, must be completed at the start and end of your shift. Required for ERP musters and record keeping, a requirement for all workers and visitors on site. Basic hours of work and breaks. Shift starts, toolbox talks, 7 a.m. to 1600. 3 breaks, 1 30-minute, 2 15. Inquire with your supervisor for scheduled break times. Restricted access. Pay attention to road signs. Never, ever enter an area that requires authorization and or is marked do not enter. If unsure, ask. FLHAs are to be completed daily before work begins, updated and time-stamped throughout the day as tasks and or conditions change. As supervisors to review and sign off FLHAs prior to work commencing, and FLHAs are to be handed in to your supervisor at shift end, completed properly. Bird uses the energy wheel for hazard recognitions, which is a great tool because it expands your knowledge of all the different hazards that are possible. And if you do not have any, then Bird will be happy to allow you to use theirs. Congestion. Our work area may become congested, have multiple different trades in the area, heavy equipment and various activities happening at once. It is important to communicate with others when they enter your work area or share a work area with. Review and cross-sign each other's FLHAs. Make sure before you walk into a congested area that the operator sees you. Work permits. Bird permits are required for the following confined space work, critical lift tasks, ground disturbance work, hot work, welding, grinding, propane use, soldering, etc. Access egress permits, exiting man baskets at heights. These documents are accessible from the Bird HSE department, and they also may require additional safe work procedures, JHAs, additional planning and specific requirements. Smoking and vaping. Smoking, vaping is allowed in designated areas only and will have clear visible signage. Dispose of all cigarette butts in the proper container and ensure they are extinguished before doing so. Smoking, vaping is prohibited in all Bird-owned or leased vehicles, office trailers, lunchrooms, change rooms, storage containers, washrooms, and any other enclosed areas. Drugs and alcohol policy. Reporting to work fit for duty is everyone's personal responsibility to ensure the safety of yourself and others. Just because it's legal to smoke marijuana doesn't mean you can smoke it at work. As well as just because it's legal to drink alcohol doesn't mean that you can drink it at work. What other factors can influence our physical state? Genetics, lifestyle choices, environmental exposures, mental well-being. When arriving to work, it is your responsibility to ensure that you're fit to complete your task as well as your drive-in. If you are unwell, then be sure to inform your supervisor of your reason why you did not show up to work. Cell phone policy. The use of cell phones while driving is prohibited. Disciplinary action includes an immediate removal from site pending investigation and will likely result in a site ban. Only supervision with authorization are permitted to have a cell phone in the field. Cameras are not permitted unless you have received authorization from the site superintendent. Under no circumstances are you permitted to take photos and post on any social media sites, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, etc. Photos that involve work or for work are granted. Seatbelt policy. Any equipment that has a seatbelt in it means that the seatbelt must be utilized. It's the law and site policy. Non-compliance will result in an immediate removal from site pending investigation and could ultimately result in a site ban. Allow the vehicle to come to a complete stop before unbuckling. Environmental waste segregation. All waste materials must be placed in the appropriate disposal bin, and all bins on site are labeled. Non-hazardous waste bins: clean wood, painted wood, construction waste, food waste, ferrous metals, non-ferrous metals. Typical hazardous waste: used oil, oil filters and containers, oily rags and towels, grease tubes, hydraulic hoses, aerosol cans, adhesive waste, paint waste, batteries, used coolant, dirty, contaminated fuel, wastewater, absorbent pads and socks, hydrocarbon impacted material. All these materials must be discarded appropriately by the appropriate waste collector. Most bird environmental spills and prevention. Most bird spill kits will be in the site compound. Report all spills to your supervisor and bird management. Secure the area, contain the spill, and stop the source if safe to do so. Place drip trays, impervious tarps, or other forms of secondary containment underneath equipment. Drain as required into suitable containers. WHMIS 2015, employers are responsible to educate and train workers on the hazards and safe use. Ensure the hazardous products are properly labeled. Prepare workplace labels and SDSs. Ensure appropriate control measures are in place. Workers will continue to participate in WHMIS and chemical safety training programs. Take necessary steps to protect themselves and their co-workers and participate in identifying and controlling hazards. A workplace label is required when a hazardous product is produced, made at the workplace, and used in that workplace. A hazardous product is transferred into another container, or a supplier label becomes lost or illegible. What information is on the workplace label? The product identifier, safe handling information, and a reference to the SDS. Violations and warning process, just as stated in the corporate video. There's a 4-step process, and exceptions to the 4-step process may be applied in reverse if the absolutes are broken. Birds for safety absolutes. Again, as stated in the corporate video: fall protection, confined space, energy isolation, excavations, and trenching. A violation of the 4 absolutes is zero tolerance and is subject to disciplinary action or dismissal. Workers' basic rights. Every worker has a right to work in a safe and healthy environment. All employees are encouraged to familiarize themselves with the Bird HSE manual, as it complements the 3 basic rights of all workers under legislation. The right to know about actual and potential dangers in the workplace. The right to participate in workplace health and safety activities. And the right to refuse work you believe to be dangerous to yourself or your co-workers. This is not only your right, but also your legal obligation. It's the law, it's your life. Bird security and site monitoring. Bird management will monitor access to the site and will require all trades to visit the site office to sign their team in at the start of the shift and out at the end. All tools and equipment will be locked at night, and the keys will be placed in a secure place. Theft will not be tolerated and will lead to immediate dismissal from all bird sites. Please report any suspicious or unauthorized activity to your immediate supervisor and to Bird. And all borrowed tools, materials must be returned before the end of your shift. Visitors and short duration workers. They must report to the site office to sign in and complete the required documentation. For visitors, must always be escorted by someone who has completed all site-specific orientation training successfully, and they cannot conduct any work activities. For short duration workers, they must complete a SDW orientation successfully, and although they are permitted to conduct work activities, they cannot be critical or high risk in nature. And short duration workers are defined as those working on site for 1 day or less. Barricades, tags, and warning signs. Barricades are used to protect others from the hazards associated with our work. Establish a safe area. Use either yellow or red. 360 rule. Ensure the chosen barricade is 360 around the hazard. Tag it. The hazard should be clearly identified and described, and the date installation noted, and the supervisor responsible. Why are joint health and safety committees important? They assist in providing greater protection against workplace illness and death. Involves representatives from workers and employers. This cooperative involvement ensures that everything possible is done to identify and eliminate or mitigate health and safety hazards. Which workplaces must have joint health and safety committees? By the time it gets to 20 and above, you are required to have a joint health and safety committee. Traffic control. Traffic control involves directing vehicular and pedestrian traffic around all construction zones, accidents, or other road disruptions. This ensures the safety of ERTs, construction workers, and the public. All TCPs must be properly trained, have their records of training available, and have a traffic control plan completed before the work starts, and have an escape route. All traffic control devices will be used as required. Spotters and signalers must communicate with the equipment operator using appropriate hand signals that they both will clearly understand. A review of the hand signals should take place between the operator and the signaler spotter before starting work. The designated signaler spotter must be in constant view of the operator and maintain eye contact. If eye contact is lost, the operator must stop immediately and only resume when the spotter is clearly visible. Closing remarks. This site will be very active inside as well as outside the site. It will be a very small footprint, and there will be heavy machinery, various trades, people inside the barbed wire fence, as well as delivery trucks and visitors. You cannot take pictures or videos on site and post it in any social media. You will be disciplined accordingly. Always be aware of your surroundings. Watch for cordoned areas and restricted areas, and be aware of all warning signs. Follow your work procedures, complete your documents, and stay safe. Not sure? Just ask. If at any time you don't know or are unsure about the rules, a procedure, what to do, etc., find a supervisor and ask the question. It's always a better choice to take the extra 2 minutes to ask and get the right answer than to find out the hard way.